So where the hell has Spike Jonze been?
Spike Jonze, you're right. He hasn't made a movie since Her?
Yeah, Her came out in 2013, which he won an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah.
He hasn't made a feature narrative film since. So I was like, I mean, he's a voice that like I miss because he's made so many great films, adaptation being John Malkovich, Her, amongst others. And it's like, I guess maybe he maybe doesn't love making narrative films as much as he used to. He's been producing. I was looking at his IMDb because I just started thinking about him.
He's been acting. Like, he's in Babylon. He's in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. I mean, Wolf of Wall Street was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's true.
That was
like the same year Her came out.
Exactly.
Well, he's in Babylon, though.
Yeah.
The French director.
Yeah, but I looked through his IMDb. I was just curious. I was like, where has Spike Jonze been?
Has he been doing music videos?
He's been producing a shit ton of things like TV series, small films, and then also directing commercials and music videos like he always has been. And his producing credit line is absolutely stacked like the last 10 years.
He's in his money era.
Maybe he likes producing better.
Yeah.
And he's also one of the greatest filmmakers when it comes to commercial advertising. His commercials and many of his music videos are just like he was like the music video director and the commercial director for a while. He makes such great commercials. So I get like sticking with that. Maybe he enjoys that more. Maybe the films he's been trying to get made haven't been able to get made. Like,
yeah, maybe he can't get a budget.
Yeah. So I mean, Annapurna threw him like $60 million for Her. I don't think another studio would have given him the money he needed to make Her. Mm-hmm. So maybe it could be a combination of things. But I was just thinking about him this morning, and I was like, when was the last time Spike Jonze made a movie? And it was 12 years ago.
Let me look up. I'm gonna Google where has Spike.
Let's find him, guys. We need to find Spike Jonze.
Ben.
He's missing.
Besides acting in Babylon, where's Spike Jonze been? It's just like saying exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Just working on a lot of producing. I mean, I guess maybe I like producing. Producing's fun, but especially when you can facilitate so much stuff to happen, that must be really exciting. Like, you can make these projects happen. You help them get greenlit. You help put them together. You're putting the pieces together. Obviously, you're a producer, so you're getting probably good amount of percent of profit from them, so he's probably making good money. He's probably enjoying it. He's working a lot,
not committing 3 years to one project.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you make a movie, it's 4 years are down the drain, not down the drain, but I mean 4 years
Jesus
are on that project.
Yeah.
Unless you're a workaholic, which you have to be if you want to be a director.
Okay, that reminds me. I saw this interview with Brady Corbet. He did a Q&A after screening of The Brutalist like 3 weeks ago, mm-hmm. And I respect the hell out of him. I think he did a great job with The Brutalist, and I like some of his other films. I liked Vox Lux, and his first film was pretty interesting. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a fictional film about it follows the story of a kid who lives like in an estate with his family and everything. But the film tells you that like when this kid grows up, he's going to be a dictator in the country, and it just shows his childhood, which is a really interesting idea. Because like even like the most horrible, heinous human beings start out as kids. You know what I mean? It was a cool movie. Pattinson's in it actually.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I've seen some stills from
I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's an interesting film, and Vox Lux was good with Natalie Portman, and The Brutalist is the best thing he's done. But he gave this interview, and I thought it was just like a little, I don't know how to feel about it, because he was basically, he went on this thing about, and I understand where he's coming from, but he was talking about the negative sides to making a movie, and he was basically saying it's awful, it's terrible, you don't sleep, you lose your hair. It's a horrible experience, and you spend 3 years on this, and it tires you out and exhausts you, and he's just like he literally was saying like it's terrible, it's awful, and I get all the negative emotions. I understand all the negative emotions. That being said, bro, I'll trade places with you in a fucking second. I will trade places with you. I was just like taken aback by the intense negativity he had about the experience and the feeling he has of making movies. We've made movies, and it is crazy, and it's a lot to handle, but I also find it to be just so much fun and exciting. And I mean, I've seen filmmakers will talk about it. I mean, it's stressful. You have terrible days. You have anxiety-ridden days. You don't sleep sometimes. But the process overall is just an incredible thing to be a part of. And I watched the interview and I was just like, dude, I'd love to be in your shoes right now.
I guess from his perspective, because if you bounce off that with how he talked about he hasn't made any really money off these last 2 movies that he's made. He's struggling financially despite being an Oscar-nominated filmmaker this year. That, I'm sure he still loves it. I'm sure he still enjoys the hell out of making movies, and it's his passion, and he loves directing and loves writing, I'm sure. But it is a lot of work, and, that toll can take on different feelings in different people. I'm sure maybe he was just feeling strongly about a question, maybe. I don't know. I didn't see the interview, but, it's tough, and maybe it's a good thing for people to hear how difficult it is to make movies, because a lot of people want to make movies, but, maybe it's important to discover how difficult of a road it is to actually make a successful film, make a film worth watching, make a film that's really impressive and is really well done and crafted brilliantly. Takes a lot of work to pull off, especially I think he's probably feeling frustration in the independent world where it's so difficult to get your budgets, and then you really have to stretch the dollar for as far as you can, because especially when you start making films or you want to make your first movie, no one teaches you how to do a budget, really. You kind of have to figure that out for yourself, because you don't really understand how much items are going to cost, how much rentals are going to cost, how much insurance is going to cost, like all these things that I never went to film school. I took just video production. I was a video production major, TV major, basically in college. But I know for a fact that most film schools aren't teaching upcoming filmmakers or wannabe filmmakers how to balance a budget, how to, be able to understand the finances of your film, how to get finances for your movie, how to get investors, and then what to spend money on, how to save money for post-production once you're going through your budgets, planning things for how much money like independent filmmakers have to be experts with their money. You really do. You have to you have to be financially savvy, but that adds so much stress because you got $10 million to make this insanely incredible looking film, The Brutalist. That must have been so difficult. Logistically, it's a nightmare, I'm sure, working on such huge scope films and epic film with such a shoestring budget. Independent filmmakers, I think people should learn or should be taught how to budget, how to get financing, what to spend your money on. Renting gear is expensive. Renting cameras are expensive. Crew is expensive. If you're a union, you have to pay specific dues. Insurance is crazy expensive sometimes, depending what's in your movie. When we were doing The Explosion, as soon as insurance companies found out we were doing explosions, like, oh, minimum $12,000 to cover your productions. Like, fuck me. So it's just like,
I got fucked doing an international film.
Yeah,
the
why?
Insurance killed me.
Because of what?
Because I couldn't take local insurance because I'm an American citizen. So I couldn't do a UK-based insurance company to insure my film. I had to do an American company because I'm an American citizen. And all of them add about $1,500 just because it was international. So it killed me with the insurance I had to get.
Yeah, well, that's tough. And especially with one click, we have a car explosion, we have squib hits, all that stuff factors in. But even though the explosion is so controlled, it's so safe, it was massive, huge explosion.
It's behind you.
But it was a very safe explosion. That's still, just having that in your script, just insurance just surprises you in the end of how much that costs. Plus day rates for specific cast and crew. It's just, there's so much money that goes into different departments for making a movie that no one's really taught until you're doing it. It's like how Americans or schools should teach people how to budget their finances and personal lives and use credit cards and learn how to
take out a loan.
Save money.
Yeah.
Like that, we don't learn those things until you're in it, and then you're like, oh fuck, this isn't free money.
You mean until after you take out a $150,000 loan for a school?
It's nuts.
Isn't that crazy? Like, as a 17-year-old, you can get a loan of $150,000 to go to college, but as a 30-year-old with good credit, you couldn't get that loan.
And ironically, the school that you're going to, they all know that you're going to be fucked financially.
They know you can't pay it.
But they're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, finances are so important, especially in independent film, low-budget film. That's where you have to learn and have to know how to use your money so well. But you never learn that. You don't know how much, a specific tripod is going to cost, how much a dolly track is going to cost. And you don't really find that out until you're in a production, in pre-production. So I understand his frustrations with filmmaking. I'm sure he's gonna. I bet it gets a little easier for him after this. I'm sure he'll get bigger budgets or more money to work with, more flexibility. Who knows? But I mean, he's nominated. His movie's just gotten so much acclaim this year with The Brutalist. You know, I'm guessing he probably was just frustrated that day, and he's just had a tough experience, especially because the awards season is so long, and especially he's not getting his stuff paid for like most other actors and talent. They're getting everything's paid for by the studio,
private jets,
hotels, clothes, wardrobe, makeup, stylist, PR, all that. You know, Brady Corbet and a lot of other filmmakers are doing it out of their own pockets. That must be so frustrating, especially because, you know, for fucking 3 months, I'm going to all over the world to do all these awards. It's amazing. It's an honor to win all these awards, but also I don't even have time to work on my scripts right now. I can't pre-production right now because I'm flying around the world in hotels all the time, doing award shows. I can't work. I have to like go schmooze at parties. If I was him, I'm just like frustrated with the last couple of months.
I'd be pretty happy. I'd be pretty psyched.
I'm just
saying. That's my opinion.
I'm trying to see his perspective.
That's just one interview. I know. That's all I'm saying.
It's just one interview.
I just didn't know how to feel about it. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say take it with a grain of salt. Maybe you had a bad day. You know how you go out, you get asked a question, you just go off. Sometimes it's not exactly how you felt at the moment, but
sure.
I think that I'm sure he still loves filmmaking. It's just hard. It's hard as fuck.
Tough. It's tough, but
it's very difficult.
Beats being a plumber. Bill Belichick beats being a plumber.
Some people like being a plumber, man.
Oh, no. Another one being a plumber. It's a Bill Belichick quote from Julian Edelman.
I know.
Boston Boys. Speaking, did you know? Are you aware with like Film Girl Twitter? Do you know anything about it?
Sure, you've brought it up to me a few times.
My girlfriend she knows Film Girl Twitter because she's a film girl on Twitter. so it's
how Anthony found her.
What's funny is they pick like a guy every year to be like the film girl queen. So it was Cillian Murphy last year with Oppenheimer in 2023, and there's thousands of tweets and videos. They make super cuts of him. They kept calling him a princess, and they would do. You never saw these?
No.
Go on Twitter, do Cillian Murphy princess, and so they would like take photos of him and put a bow in his hair. And then super cuts like crazy, like with fun music of like his work in Oppenheimer, and it was just like a club beat track super edit to Oppenheimer. And then they did the same thing with the lawyer from Anatomy of a Fall, the lawyer with the great hair in Anatomy of a Fall. He became like the it guy for Film Girl Twitter last year. And the same thing, they were calling him a princess, and
it's pretty funny.
There are all these like hot girl supercuts of him, and it's just like, you know, like the TikTok supercuts of just like super fast edits with like amazing, with like poppy music.
Yeah.
This year, I'm not sure if you're aware, it was Ralph Fiennes.
This year,
apparently Conclave and this is on Tumblr too, the Tumblr audience for all this stuff. Tumblr and Twitter girls love Conclave, and they love Ralph Fiennes. They've been calling him a diva all season. So they keep calling Ralph Fiennes their diva. And like they do supercuts of Conclave to this fun music. And he did some fun poses at the Oscars. And everyone was like, that's our diva. That's my diva, baby. What the fuck? It was Ralph Fiennes this time. It's great.
That's so effing
so funny. It's so random and kind of unhinged, but in a great way.
Damn, that's pretty funny. I watched this awesome short film the other day. It was 2018 jury short film winner at South by Southwest. Mm-hmm. You gotta check it out. It's on YouTube. It's got like over 20 million views.
Jesus Christ!
It's called Other Side of the Box. It's really well made for low budgets. It's a really awesome idea and concept. It's about this couple. They're just making dinner one night. And then an old friend who they've had clearly a falling out with shows up. It's around the Christmas season with a Christmas gift. And the girlfriend stays in the kitchen to kind of hide away from him while the boyfriend goes and answers the door because she doesn't want to see him. And he brings them this box, this gift. And it's kind of like the
Is this the box that like is black inside the box, like an emptiness?
Yeah. So let me get to that. So he gives them the box. And this isn't spoiling anything. This is all in like if you watch a teaser trailer or even see posters. And then basically the boyfriend opens the box that's given to him from the old friend, and it's nothingness inside of it. It's just a black hole, basically, a void. and he tries to like drop something in it. He doesn't hear it fall. He tries to shine a flashlight in it. He can't see the light anywhere. And the guy leaves, and the girlfriend comes from the kitchen, and they start exploring, like, what the heck is this box? And also the guy tells him, whatever you do, don't take your eyes off of it. And then something comes out of the box. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who wants to see this, but I can't recommend checking it out. It's such a cool concept. Other side of the box. It's on YouTube. And again, 2018 South by Southwest Grand Jury winner for short film narrative.
It's amazing to get that many views from a short film.
Yeah, Caleb J. Phillips is the writer-director.
Wow.
And man, it was so cool. It's such a great idea, and it reminded me of the ghosts in Mario. Remember when you play Mario, if you take your eyes off and the ghosts get closer?
Yeah.
And sometimes there's two ghosts, and you're like going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, as they're coming to you. And this movie plays with that idea in a lot of ways, but it's very cool. I could definitely see it being a narrative feature. I thought it was an awesome concept, but you got to check it out, man. In like the last 2 minutes, I was fucking terrified.
I've known of it. I feel like I've seen a clip of it, but not the entire thing, because I've seen the couple looking into the box, and it's like an empty, dark void.
Yeah.
And I think it was like a clip I saw on social media, but I never watched the entire thing.
It's a quick watch, too. It's like 12 minutes maybe. Okay. And it's really, really a really good idea. And the dialogue just needs a little cleaning up otherwise, but the concept is so brilliant, and it really filled me with dread. And they did such a good job with a low budget, and you got to watch it, man. It's so freaking good.
Okay, I'll check it out. That's in my watch list.
I like screamed when the movie ended.
Were you squirming?
Yeah, in the last minute.
Squirm?
In the last minute, I was squirming.
Oh my god!
And the guy did a really great job building fear and suspense.
Have you heard about
the honeybees?
Have you heard about these bees? Hey guys, nothing happening. Have you heard about PTA's new film? They did a mystery screening.
What's a mystery screening in terms of like executives?
A mystery audience to watch it without you can sign up for a screening.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And they ask you
those
for
people with clipboards outside ArcLight.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. And then they ask for feedback about the film. It's a test screening, but many of them are secret at first. And apparently, I don't know if it's true, but people are saying that there was a test screening for PTA's new film, and it didn't do well at the test. And Warner Brothers is worried because they spent a lot of money on it. Honestly, I think that's great news, because PTA never makes movies for the mainstream, and he makes his own uncompromising films, and it's a Thomas Pynchon novel, so I don't understand why they would be confused about audiences being divided about it, because it's bizarre storytelling. And honestly, it gets me more juiced and more excited for the film.
Yeah, I mean, I like when studios take risks, and PTA doing a $100 million movie.
Yeah.
It's his biggest budget ever by a lot, starring Leo. First of all, Leo's going to get $100 million in ticket sales anyways.
People will see it for him.
But I think it's going to be an awesome experience, and I'm looking forward to it. And I think it's a good risk. Even a movie like Mickey 17 is a risk.
Yes.
That's a $118 million film, directed by Bong Joon-ho. A lot of people still probably don't know him by name for non-cinephiles and non-movie lovers, but they may have seen Parasite. But Bong hasn't made a movie since Parasite. And also, Robert Pattinson hasn't been in a live-action film since The Batman. Even though he is a big draw for box office, this is his first live-action performance since Batman. I mean, he did voice a character in The Boy and the Heron in between. But isn't that crazy to think?
I didn't even realize
he hasn't been in a movie since The Batman, Robert Pattinson.
Wow, that's crazy.
So,
but he's got 4 coming out this year.
Yeah, he's got a bunch. And the box office draw, Mickey 17 has to make $300 million. The PTA movie probably has to make $300 million. Yeah. That's just to start, breaking even. Yeah. After ticket sales, advertising costs, all that. So is it a risk to give PTA $120 million? Is it a risk to give Bong Joon-ho $120 million for these crazy, wacky, zany stories, especially Mickey 17? Wait till y'all see it. It's so silly and so fun, but it's so brilliant, by the way. We're going to do an episode. We did an episode on Monday, so check it out after you watch the movie. But then PTA, a very much an auteur, unique, brilliant filmmaker. What does his movie look like if he's going to do $100 million? That isn't advertised. He talked about it being an action film in a lot of ways, or an action
something. Yeah, there's action in it.
Yeah.
He said there's action in it.
It's got Leo with a sniper rifle in a bathrobe shooting down a cliffside. I mean,
sign me up.
I can't wait to see what this is.
Sign me up.
I understand studios with test screenings don't hit the right people sometimes because not everyone's for those movies. But then the audience will be there. It's PTA and Leo.
I think the only movie of Leo's that didn't make $100 million at least is Don't Look Up, and it was on Netflix.
Yeah. It probably still would have made $100 million.
Oh, absolutely. And he's the most successful box office actor if you're going to look at every film making money. No one's ever done it like him.
Plus, that cast was just so good for just such a interesting experience.
But yeah, I think they need to make a lot of money. But Pattinson, his next film is actually a Lynn Ramsey film, Die My Love, with Jennifer Lawrence.
Mm-hmm. And he's got one with Zendaya coming out this year that they just wrapped like a couple weeks ago. And then obviously Mickey 17. And then what's the other movie? He's got another movie coming out this year as well. So he's busy this year.
I can't remember.
But also, he had a kid, he was busy with his, his family.
He had a baby.
He had a little baby. I think they had a daughter. So cute. But so sometimes actors take some time off.
I saw him in an interview, and he was talking about. I think he was referring to Smile 2 because he's making a film with that director.
Possession, they're redoing Possession.
But he said, because he mentioned, it was the film I watched of this horror director that I had a meeting with about a film. And he said, so he was watching this film at home. I'm guessing it was Smile 2, and he got an early screener of it because he's Pattinson. And he said that it was the most scared he's ever been in his life. And he kept thinking someone was trying to break into the house, and he kept looking into every room while the film was playing. And then he said he ended up lying on the couch with 2 knives next to him to protect himself.
In his hands.
Yeah.
He said his girlfriend walked in, and the knives were like digging into his neck. And she's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, hey, honey. So me and Pattinson are alike.
Yeah, neurotic people should be careful watching horror movies by themselves.
That's me, man. That's me. I do it to myself often. Like, I'll put a horror movie on with no lights on and just, whoo, man. Sometimes they get me.
I've been there. I've been
seeing it firsthand.
I mean, I've been scared. I've watched. I remember I was staying at Dad's house by myself, and it's a big, old, creaky house. And I watched a horror film that night, and I was the only one in the house because they were gone.
Do you remember what you watched?
I can't remember, but I went to bed and I was like, fuck. Because there's so many rooms in that house. There's so many hallways and nooks and crannies and so many ways in, so many windows. I was like, middle of the night, I just walked around the house, turned the lights on. I was like, I don't like it here. And then I swear to God, only way I felt safe falling asleep. Because also you're kind of isolated. It's kind of like a horror movie environment in a way. There are houses on that street, but it's like it's very isolated by woods and trees and stuff.
What are you talking about? There's a house 20 feet next to it.
I just said there's houses on the street.
And 20 feet to the other side of it.
I just said there's houses on the street.
There are houses everywhere. You're making it sound like it's the middle of the farm.
No. I just said there are houses on the street,
but you're being ambiguous.
But it feels like you're isolated. I literally said there are houses on the street.
Main street.
There are other houses on the street. I said that. I didn't say we're in the middle of nowhere.
No, but you're ambiguous.
I don't know what's more ambiguous. I don't know how saying there are houses on the street is ambiguous.
Because you said it felt like the middle of nowhere.
Because it felt like the middle of nowhere. I didn't say it was the middle of nowhere. I said it felt like the middle of nowhere.
You know what,
motherfucker?
I'm not gonna tell you not to feel how you feel, man.
Thank you, man. It's my feeling. Anyways, the only way I could fall asleep or feel safe going to sleep was I put my suitcase in front of the door so it blocked it, and I pinned it against the frame of the bed so that like it was impossible to open the door.
I mean,
because that door doesn't have a lock and it doesn't even close.
I get that.
That door, it doesn't even close.
That's very dangerous, though.
Yeah.
For you.
Like how?
If there's a fire.
Oh, I just moved the suitcase.
No, like if there's a fire and the smoke like makes you unconscious, it's gonna be tough for firefighters to get in your room.
Gotcha.
And then you'll die.
I took the chance, man. I said there's more likely a chance that there's a serial killer trying to kill me than a fire would break out.
It's definitely the latter, though. Definitely the latter. I remember one of the. I mean, you've seen me throw pillows in the living room before. It's like I've done silly things in watching horror movies with you.
Oh yeah.
I do silly things when I watch horror movies by myself as too. Sometimes I pause and I just have to like go for a walk. But I remember one of the most scared I've ever been watching a movie was. I had to have been 9 or I think I was 10 years old. And for some reason, we grew up, as many of you know, with a huge family of 5. We have 4 older brothers. Our house was madness. Always a bunch of people at the house. For some reason, I was home alone. It was like the first time ever I was home alone.
Yeah, we all had a nice dinner together without James.
I think I was sick, so I didn't go. I think that's what it was. Like I was sick, so I didn't go to dinner. But I probably just wanted to be away from everyone, honestly, because you seldom got alone time in that house. Maybe once a month I could have 10 minutes.
James wanted
myself.
to watch Skinamax.
No, I watched Blair Witch Project.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
As a kid? Oh my
I put
God.
on Blair Witch Project, and dude, I was so scared. I remember holding a knife on the couch with me. I was terrified. I was constantly not looking at the screen. I don't know why I did this to myself. I think we had it on VHS or something, or we got it from Blockbuster or someone. And it was just a terrible idea, man. And the Blair Witch Project scared the fucking bejesus out of me when I was 9 years old on the couch with a kitchen knife, home alone. It was nuts. Nuts. Remember, parents used to leave kids home alone at like 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, I mean, we did whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were gone during the summer. Yeah, we were just gone.
Times
most
have
days.
changed.
Yeah, we would just call from someone's house. Hey, I'm sleeping over at his house. See you guys tomorrow. Make sure you brush your teeth.
That's one of the most scared I've ever been during a movie that I can remember.
Yeah, I can't remember the most scared I've ever been in real time. It's honestly, it's probably either watching Freddy Krueger or Chucky as a kid. It's got to be something like that, where those are just terrifying.
Yeah, more recently, though, I would say Hereditary in theaters was one of the most terrifying experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it was scary.
I was fucking freaking out. Dude, Black Phone, I was freaking out.
You freak out a lot, though.
In theaters, yeah.
Yeah. You'll be like, You'll be, I was terrified. I'll be like, oh, I thought it was pretty boring.
X got me good. I was squirming like a fish out of water watching X the knife in the throat scene.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that movie got me.
Did the boogeyman get you, or were you just acting?
Well, here's the deal.
Because we were being filmed for.
Here's the deal.
We were paid for content production as like part of the audience and reacting to it.
Here's the deal. There are cameras on us. You know me, I'm a showman. I like to give people what they want. And I wanted to make sure people saw that movie. And I put on a show. But I was pretty scared at times. But it's funny because I'm like jumping and you're like an angel from Doctor Who, you're just frozen.
What would happen though is because I thought the boogeyman was really boring. And I didn't find it scary.
Really?
At all.
I thought it was scary. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
I thought it was not scary.
I liked it. I liked Boogeyman.
It was all right. It was fine. But I would use you as like the cue.
Oh yeah.
So like you would react, and then I would just like go like, oh.
Yeah.
I would do like fake scared faces.
Yours were quite delayed.
Yeah. Because I didn't find it scary.
The thing with yeah, I mean, I found it pretty scary at times for sure. I feel like we used to get more scary movies every year. I feel like horrors. I love horror. It's one of my favorite genres, if not maybe my favorite genre. It sort of has become a lot of times more campy than scary at times, if that makes sense.
Yeah, The Monkey Companion. I mean, they're horror movies, but they're not scary.
And I miss. It's not that I miss because they still. I mean, we're getting a couple this year. I love being scared in the theater. And I haven't had many experiences lately that have made me feel dread, made me feel fear, like the first time I watched The Shining. You know, I haven't been terrified that often in theaters lately.
Neither have I. I gotta say, neither have I. It's been a while.
It's not to say that the horror movies coming out aren't great and that we don't still get scary movies every year. But man, like, I want to get scared so bad in theaters. That's why I look forward to, like, Smile 2 scared the fuck out of me, I will say. Smile 2 got me for sure.
Smile 2 was fun. Yeah,
I was scared during Smile 2 a lot. That movie, I will say, was the most terrifying of the movie I watched last year, and I loved it. I love the Smile franchise. It's my favorite horror franchise right now. And I when I go to see a horror movie, I want to be fucking terrified. You know, I want that.
I gotta say, the last time I was scared in a movie or like a horror film really was scary. I think it's gonna be A Quiet Place Part 1.
Yeah, I mean 2 was good too, but Quiet Place 1.
Which one?
2.
Oh yeah, Quiet Place. I mean yeah, but like A Quiet Place Part 1, I think it was just like the scares were great, and it was just like the dread. He built that dread and that suspense, and put the characters into like unreal situations where it was just like, how the fuck is this gonna happen?
I would say Part 2, The opening was terrifying with the crash landing in the town of the aliens. I thought that was terrifying. From that point on, scary moments, but more entertaining than anything, and more shock value versus fear.
Yeah.
So like the island sequence, all that was terrifying. But the first one is definitely a very, very scary movie, especially the birth sequence.
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. I thought, man, they really nailed that one. They really nailed that.
John's good.
He fucking crushed it. But yeah, I'm not feeling the same impact on horror that we used to get. I agree. But again, I think the genre's evolving and meshing into other genres is what it is.
I agree.
I think that's it's like how comedy meshed into the comic book genre, and those kind of have blended together. And it seems like the horror genre is becoming the horror sci-fi, the horror comedy. Not the
it's always existed though.
No, yeah. But like, I haven't been terrified in a movie in a long time.
I would say Smile 2 for me. The last
still at the end of the day, The Exorcist is just the one that still gets me, and I'm not like terrified during the film, but honestly, whenever I watch The Exorcist, and I've watched it a lot because I think it's one of the greatest films ever made, but when The Exorcist ends that night, I just really feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so visceral, and it's incredible. And I was watching, I think it has something to do with an over-reliance on CGI and contemporary filmmaking. So I watched this great breakdown of Gone with the Wind. Singing in the Rain, and there are huge sequences in Singing in the Rain that like defy reality, and it was all done practically, and these gigantic sequences and incredible sets and so larger than life, and the sequences are just honestly more visually stunning than anything you'll see these days. And part of the reason why like you don't get that feeling with CGI, and I think we've become numb to CGI, and that's why like whenever we talk about practicality, the comments are always like, this is better than everybody agrees. Like, it's always an outpouring of love for practical filmmaking everywhere on the internet that I see. Nobody ever says CGI is better. I don't see people saying that. But I think what the difference is for like something like Singing in the Rain or like The Exorcist or anything made back then, they had to do it, and they're creating something extraordinary. But it's like a magician. It's like when you see an amazing magic show or an amazing magician doing some crazy trick, magic isn't real. Sorry, James, it's not real.
Wait, what?
It's not real. You know it's not real. So then when you see the extraordinary thing, as an audience member, you're just thinking, how did that happen? How did they accomplish that? How is this even possible? Because back then, they had to do it in the film practically, and then as an audience, you're like, this is the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. How is this possible? How did they do this? But now, it's just like, you see this extraordinary thing, and you're just like, they CGI'd it. They didn't really do it. They just CGI'd it. And so that happens a lot, I think, with horror, with the monsters, with the creatures, with whatever's happening, whatever it is. They CGI'd it. So we lose, and that could be, you can say that about any kind of like genre that uses visual effects, and it's kind of like the magic isn't there. I mean, the magic is there. It's a movie, but it's not as strong or palpable because as an audience, you aren't trying to investigate how it was done. You aren't blown away by the fact that they pulled it off because, it's just CGI.
I think audiences, and I agree with you, are savvy to CGI. We've been watching it for so years. We're almost desensitized to it. We know when we see it. And if it's not done well, it can take us out of it. And if it's done too much, it takes us out of the movie. CGI, I respect so much. And it is needed much in film. You know, there are so many movies that you can't do without CGI. However, you can do both at the same time. And you can pull it off really well. Jurassic Park is the perfect example of, you can't make this movie without CGI. It's the first major feature-length film to use that extensive amount of CGI. But at the same time, you have CGI herds, you have CGI T-Rex, CGI Velociraptors. When we're in those mediums and we're in those intense situations, we're animatronic, baby. We're in camera, we're in lens, we're shooting dinosaurs for real. We're building robots. We have dudes in suits running around as Velociraptors for when it matters, to build that tension, to build the suspense, to really build the dread. I think Spielberg obviously knows that. And then even a more recent film that on a smaller scale does the same thing, I would say, is Ex Machina. Ex Machina is a great example of, it's kind of a horror movie, thriller, but it fills you with a ton of dread and a lot of suspense with the blend of CGI and practical. Alicia Vikander is wearing a suit, but her body is animated with CGI, but her head's real. And that is a perfect example of smaller scale CGI blended with live action that works so well to tell the story. It doesn't take you out of it because it's done so well, but also because she's real. It's really Alicia Vikander's head. It's really her. And then at times it's her limbs when she's fully clothed as Ava. So I think that when it's done well, when it's done right, it works so well. But like you said, when your monster's always just 100% CGI, it doesn't always work for the entire runtime.
Yeah, that's why, you talk about Jurassic Park is an amazing example. Yes, the huge landscapes of the herds, of them drinking at the water the first time we see them.
They do travel in herds.
Yeah. Those are mind-blowing sequences, and back then it looked as photorealistic as possible, and it's some of the best moments. But honestly, for me, the most impactful moments are the animatronics, the close-ups, the foot landing in the mud, the close-ups of the raptor heads, the actual T-Rex, I always think of like the flashlight when the kids are shining the flashlight on the T-Rex's eyes when its head is beside the car.
And the pupils dilate.
Yeah, like it's really there. And obviously Spielberg was wise to know like CGI is not good enough for that. We got to do animatronic. But for me, those are like the best moments of the film. Yes, it's so cool when the T-Rex tears the car apart and chews the tire up and everything, and then the chase and everything. But like the visceral nature and the rawness of really seeing like this is something that's on the set, and then you add the great sound design by that sound team who just came up with these incredible sound ideas and theorizing of what T-Rexes would sound like or other dinosaurs. And when you combine the sound, the rumbling of its vocal cords, the roar, the growls, and then you see it really there on screen, on set with the actors, with the kids, with the car, interacting for real when it's pressing it down on the glass roof of the car. For me, those are always just like the most terrifying parts of that film, and the greatest parts of that film, because it's really there. And that's the magic trick. You're like, when you watch that, especially as kids, you're like, how the fuck do they do this?
I was terrified by Jurassic Park.
Like, I thought it was a real T-Rex. Now we watch a movie. Now we watch Jurassic World. We're like, it's not a real T-Rex. It's CGI. But like when I was a kid, I was like, oh my god, it's really there. It's really, and even as an adult, you watch it and you're like, because of the magic trick, the illusion, you do fall back into it, and you disappear into and you immerse yourself in the moment. You're like, oh, in this moment, the T-Rex is real. But I don't feel that in the CGI moments. But in those moments, you're like, it's really there. Like the T-Rex is like this giant reptile lizard, huge monster. It is really there attacking these kids.
Clearly, I think a lot of movies and TV shows have gone too far, or a lot of studios have gone too far lately with CGI, doing everything CGI. It's easier. It's just easier to say, we'll just have visual effects people do it. And, that's one of the reasons why CGI has diminished in a lot of films, is the studios that are doing the visual effects, the artists are so overworked. People who are making movies oftentimes are just like, oh, we'll do this in CGI, we'll send it to them, they'll do it for us. And then they're getting these impossible deadlines with very difficult projects, to these turnarounds on these sequences that are just too difficult to do on short time to make it look as realistic as they can make it. And they kind of have to just do the best they can with the time they're given. And the workload's probably immense, because it's so easy for studios to be like, oh, don't worry about that part of the set, we'll CGI that. Versus Christopher Nolan in Tenet, when protagonist is going to he's at the R&D department with Fleur Delacour, yes. And they enter...
Don't worry about the actress's real name.
They enter the room that has all the shelves and drawers full of inverted objects. The background, the hallway, it goes for like 400 feet, right? With different shelves, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, thousands of drawers. That is a matte painting. It's a drawing. Yeah. That's way better. It's easier. It's more efficient. and it's real.
And it's cheaper.
You catch it in lens.
Yeah.
It's cheaper, but you have someone animate that in post. It won't look as good. You'll have to put a green screen up, and you know it's a green screen a lot of the time when you watch movies. We're pretty good at this. We've been watching a lot of movies with blue screen and green screen our whole lives. We can pick up on it. But the fact that Nolan's like, fuck that. We're getting this in lens. Just make a matte painting. Put it back there.
Just draw something.
Hire an incredible artist. I saw a great BTS of the guy who did it. Incredible artist made it so it looks like that hallway goes for hundreds and hundreds of feet. And it looks so much better because it's there. The actors can see it. They can interact with it. It adds so much more to the scene. And it's sad that we've gone so far in the deep end of CGI, but it is nice to see that old filmmaking's coming back. You know, a lot of filmmakers are trying to be more practical because I think they understand filmmakers like Nolan. They're making the biggest movies ever made. So much in camera. So much in post has been eliminated for visual effects in a lot of these big movies. So much less CGI. And doing Oppenheimer with not a single CGI shot is so impressive. But at the same time, that's what it used to be like.
Yeah.
Filmmakers had to figure this stuff out, which made your movie more impressive, made your movie more creative when you have to figure out how can we do this? How can we capture these kinds of images on a real set with a real camera and not do it in post? How do we do this organically? It adds so much to the creativity of your team. You know, it's difficult. It's not easy. It takes a lot of testing. It's hard work, but the outcome is so much more powerful and adds so much more to your film and your story.
Making movies isn't supposed to be easy.
It's not.
Yeah.
Nothing worth doing is.
Yeah, no magic trick was ever easy. And the greater the trick, the greater the amount of work. If you think about it, it's worth it. So if you want to do it, I think if you're going to do it practically, it's the best way to do it, no matter what it is. And then building it out. But then obviously you have James Cameron. He's doing all CGI worlds, but he is coming from a practical place. But you know, revolutionizing what CGI does, and doing it the right way. There's CGI the right way, and then there's CGI the factory way.
Yeah, James Cameron's in a different universe.
Yeah.
He's just doing amazing things. Like, I love the Avatar films, and I respect so much the direction of the technology and how far they're pushing it. It's amazing.
I can't wait for the new one.
Me neither.
I'm really excited.
Fuck yeah, man. I'm more hyped than I was for number 2.
That's this Christmas, right, or something? It's this year.
It's this year.
Yeah.
Avatar 3.
I think this Christmas.
Let me pull that release date.
They gotta be dropping a trailer soon or something.
Coming up.
They gotta be dropping something.
December 19th. 3 hours and 12 minutes.
Woo! Shorter than the last one.
I'll be seated.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think the last one was like 325. Something like that.
312. They're both 312.
312. Wow, that's a sweet spot. That's the Avatar sweet spot.
Well, let's see how long Avatar 1 was.
That's when Disney's like, okay, that's the cutting off point. No longer than 312. That's it.
242, the first one.
Wow.
Man, I love those Avatar movies. All right, how about we take a quick little break?
Yes.
Then we'll come back and do some more movie chat.
Quick break.
Before we continue, the best way to support Raiders of the Lost Podcast is to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. You get access to weekly bonus episodes of the show. You get access to the ad-free and commercial-free version of every single episode that we post. Not to mention access to our Discord. We have 5 tiers of membership on Patreon. Each tier comes with specific perks. For as little as $10 for an annual purchase, you can be a member of our Patreon, patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Obviously, another great way to support the show, leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. These ratings help us get seen by new people. They add reputability to the show so that people, when they find us on Spotify or Apple, they're like, whoa. These guys got like 3,000 ratings. I'm definitely giving them a shot.
It's a lot of ratings.
And then they read the reviews, which I'll read one in a minute, and they're like, I'm definitely going to watch this phenomenal podcast because people are just talking so glowingly about it. Another great way to support the show. Subscribe on YouTube. Share all of our content. Share us with your family and friends. Word of mouth is the best way for a podcast to grow. Share our content from Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Share entire episodes from YouTube, Spotify, or Apple with your friends, family members, anyone you know who loves film.
This episode, of course, is sponsored by our friends at movieposters.com. This is the #1 place to get your posters online today. And be sure to use our promo code. That's Raiders10. You know it. Raiders10 will always get you 10% off your order when you use it. They have a huge selection at movieposters.com of every film and TV show imaginable in their gigantic poster library, as well as all sorts of sizes, framing, and even backlighting for your poster needs, like the backlit poster behind James. They have movie theater quality prints, double-sided prints. These are like the real ones that are exceptional when you have a backlit poster like that, as well as posters of your favorite modern blockbuster to your favorite Hollywood Golden Era classic. They also have tons of international posters and alternate posters of your favorite films. And for all the collectors out there, they have really amazing collectible lobby cards of your favorite classic films, as well as alternate prints and original movie poster prints. These are collector's items for many of your favorite classics. For all the collectors out there, go to movieposters.com. And for all of the casual movie fans, there's no better way to express your love of film and TV than decking your place out with tons of movie posters of your favorite films. So go to movieposters.com for all your poster needs and use the promo code, like always, Raiders10 to get 10% off your order.
All right, Anthony, can you hit us with some unsubscribes? What do we got?
Oh, yeah, we got some good ones.
Let's do this.
I love unsubscribes. And again, if you guys want to get shouted out on unsubscribes, just make a funny joke or comment on YouTube, on Instagram, Spotify, wherever, and we'll add you and read you out because it makes our day. It cracks us up. First up, we have movie nerd James.
Not me.
Yeah. On our Pattinson interview. What the fuck? You guys have been twins this whole time? Unsubscribe. Mark J. Listen, fellas. I got a fever. And the only prescription is more podcasts. By the time you're done with this show, you'll be wearing gold-plated diapers. I love that one. Next up. Crafty Caddy. I've been listening to you guys for about a year now. Back in college, I worked at Blockbuster, and when it was slow, we'd play our own version of Cinephile. I was so excited when you guys started playing this game on your show, and I've had a lot of fun playing along as I listen, but dang, James, not wanting to play anymore has crushed my nostalgic heart. Therefore, unfortunately, I must unsubscribe.
Sorry, pal. I'm 1 in 14. I can't keep doing this. It's the losing record's embarrassing. It's bad.
We get it, man. It's okay. Next up, Ocean Roars. Bringing up that dress again. Unsubscribe. The gold, white, black, blue dress.
Yeah.
Anthony showing emotions during a film. Resubscribe. Not talking about the Oscars on Monday following the Oscars. Unsubscribe.
Sorry, we didn't want to stay up till 2 a.m.
Yeah, no way.
I had some champagne that night anyways.
Norman Clickbaits. Proud of you guys and how far you've come. Talking about the Mickey 17 interview. Interviewing those two legends is an absolute feather in your caps. With all that being said, unsubscribed. Next up, we have... One second. Okay, here we go. David Miller. James saying he feels like a horse while peeing in a trough. Inferiority complex initiated. Unsubscribed. The Italian stallion. James walks in. All the guys like, oh, what? Here comes the Italian stallion. J-Man the Man. Totally agree with Best Actress. Torres should have won, but didn't. Unsubscribe for waiting so long to see the movie and for crying and peeing at the same time. Always finish the cry in the theater, even if it means a minute or two when the credits are done. Why? Because the film performance swept over you, and you need time to soak in the meaning, even if you have to hold it in a little bit more. The pee, not the cry. Love the show, guys. Father of twins. I'm telling you, Jay, I waited until after the credits. I was still crying. I was crying walking through the lobby after I went to the pee. Oh, my God. Amit. Anthony sharing that he's been crying like a little bitch recently at movies. Unsubscribed. Able to share his vulnerability. Resubscribed. Anthony and James, the movie critic brother duo America deserves, but not the one it needs right now. Keep up the great work, Amit Boston.
You don't have to thank. I never thanked you.
And you'll never have to. Never have to. The dude abides. Maybe the Matrix not originally being green is a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun,
I like that.
Dun, 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 dun. He has to play the X-Files theme. Dun, 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 dun. Unsubscribe from our robot overlords. It's possible. All right, next up. Nebastius. Stephen McKinley Henderson was not in Severance. Oh, wait, we did this one.
Yeah.
It was Adrian Martinez.
Y'all got me.
They look like father and son.
They look so alike.
They look
I'm
like
sorry.
father and son.
I'm sorry.
It's
They look
nuts.
so alike.
I can't believe how similar those guys look.
That's why I was convinced it was him.
So you didn't do your research, James?
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I went on Twitter. That's the wrong place I learned to do research.
Did you just look at like a side-by-side?
No, I searched Severance and Stephen.
So is that where you get all your information from? Just searching on Twitter?
I learned my lesson. No, I learned my lesson. I definitely learned my lesson.
James gets all his info on Twitter.
No. I'm telling you, like Twitter's pros and cons, but that one was a con. I think Twitter's better for just real time news. Like if there's something going on, hop on Twitter to find out what's happening, the fires or whatever. But yeah, because I'm sure hundreds of other people thought the same thing as me, and that's true. They did. People did think that.
People thought that.
That's like the Richard Pryor thing with Die Hard. So there's the character in Die Hard. There's a SWAT guy who, when the SWAT team's first approaching the building, and it cuts to a guy looks just like Richard Pryor. He bumps into a rose in a thorn bush, and he goes, "Ow!" And I know it's not confirmed. Richard Pryor never confirmed it. His family never confirmed it. But they've never answered questions about it. Like, they've never said yes or no. And everyone's just been so secretive about who that guy was. And, I mean, I've seen a lot of Richard Pryor stand-up, and I've seen a good amount of Richard Pryor movies. For me, it looks and sounds just like Richard Pryor. And it also seems like a funny joke bit. Like, why would they have a SWAT guy who walks into a thorn and goes, "Ow!" Like when they're raiding.
It's a bit.
It seems like a bit. And I know we made a clip.
Oh my God, we got destroyed.
And we posted on TikTok,
shit.
and holy crap, people came after us, calling us like racist and all kinds of things. It was nuts. It's like, guys, it looks just like Richard Pryor. It sounds just like Richard Pryor. It's a random comedic bit that's out of place otherwise in the entire film.
Why would you show a random SWAT guy who you never see in the film again? Why would you show him getting pricked by thorns and reacted to it?
For me, it feels and looks like Richard Pryor.
Feels like a cameo.
It sounds like it looks and sounds like a fun cameo. It sound like the voice. It's like his high pitched squeak voice. It sounds so much like him. I know it'll never get confirmed, but I mean, it's a 50-50 debate. I've been on the internet multiple times for this. I've gone down rabbit holes. It's literally 50% of people think it is him, 50% think it's not him.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think that it's a fun cameo because why else would they show it? Why would you dedicate 15 seconds of film to that?
You could just cut it.
I know it adds nothing to the film.
Also, he's clearly mic'd up.
Yeah, he's mic'd up. You're right.
He's mic'd up. They got a mic on him or a boom.
It was planned.
So definitely planned.
Like, why would they show a SWAT guy doing that? It makes no sense to do that, like for no reason.
That's how I always feel about it.
Man, we got this. I forgot we got destroyed.
We got to take that clip down.
Yeah, people are sensitive, man.
Jeez Louise.
Man, we got destroyed.
I've replayed that clip 50 times on YouTube.
I just played it again, and it looks like Richard Pryor.
It sounds. It's more the voice though for me. It sounds so much like Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Let me get to a quick 5-star rating review, and then we'll get back to the episode. Now, this is from JoJo Photo 3000.
Hey, JoJo.
Gilbert Godfrey impression. I don't know if I could do that. These guys are hilarious, so hilarious, in fact, that I can't listen to them at work anymore. I'm a welder, and it messes me up when they start cracking jokes. That's a dangerous job to
be
laugh
careful,
at.
bro.
I've gained so much knowledge and appreciation of film from them, but I do feel peer pressure to unsubscribe. Keep it up. JoJo Photo 3000, thank you so much for that wonderful review.
Hope you're being careful today.
I'll work on a Gilbert Gottfried impression for you.
It'll kill your throat.
And that will hurt. Appreciate it so much. Thanks for tuning in. And that's pretty crazy that you weld and listen to us. So, yeah, I'm glad that you stopped because you're going to lose a finger if you keep that up with our bickering and laughing. But, yeah, I mean, getting back into the episode, I feel like that's fucking Richard Pryor, man.
Seems like it, man. Certainly seems like it.
Feel like it is. And it bugs me when people came after us for that. Meanwhile, they probably never have seen a Richard Pryor movie.
It's amazing how much that film holds up.
Die Hard?
Yeah, and still is just one of the great action films ever made. And, I mean, it's just... Here's the thing. What I don't think a lot of... Like, it's been happening, like, the last 10 years in movies where in an action movie, there'll be a lead character and they go through hell and back, but it doesn't look like they got scratched at all. It doesn't look like they struggled, and it seems like so easy. I'm not talking about John Wick.
John Wick goes through hell.
John Wick goes through hell, and you fucking feel it. But there's been a lot of recent action movies, and I'm not gonna say them because I don't want to get destroyed. But if I think you know what I'm talking about, and it feels like it's so easy for the lead character to accomplish everything, and then audiences reject it. They don't go see it, or if they do see it, they don't like it, and then studios or filmmakers, they complain about like why audiences didn't like it. They don't, and they say it's the audience's fault. But Die Hard is the perfect example. Like, John McClane looks like he's been through hell. He struggles. He nearly dies so many times. You feel it. You see it. The guy can barely walk. He's covered in blood. He's
got glass in his feet.
He's crawling on the floor. He's barely getting out alive. He's just barely getting through it, and he only got out. He only won because of like a chance, fuck it moment. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it, and a really great plan. But like it's not easy for him. It's not easy, and every fight nearly destroys him. Every shootout almost kills him, and then if he does get away, he's getting punished physically for it, like the glass, like breaking through a fucking glass pane window, hanging from the building. You really feel it. You feel the struggle, and you feel how much fucking pain he's going through and how much resilience he must have. But it's never easy for John McClane. It does get easier for him in some of the sequels, which is why they're not as strong as the first film. But I've been seeing so many movies lately and not seeing them because I see the trailer and I see clips and I'm just like, it doesn't even look like they're even going through any struggle. And that's why we love Die Hard. Because John McClane fucking nearly dies so many times, and he can barely walk out at the end. You know what I mean? And you don't really see that anymore.
Well, he's the underdog. And the underdogs these days, they're fake underdogs in a lot of movies. They're not really underdogs because they can't get hurt or they don't lose. They never lose a fight. They never lose a 1v1. Not that those kinds of movies didn't always exist. I mean, let's look at Arnold's career, and you look at a movie like Commando. He's a killing machine.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the character and why we like that character, and that's such a campy B action movie. And it works.
Plus, look at the guy.
It works. Exactly. Look at the fucking look at the guy. It's like Jack Reacher. The guy's enormous.
He's not gonna lose a 1v1.
He almost does.
Against the lanky armed Brit.
But also, that's like a one-man army kind of movie.
Yes.
And like John Wick, too.
It's over the top.
But then you look at Predator, and Predator is really probably his best movie. And that's a character who is so outmatched. In Commando, he's outnumbered. In this one, he's outmatched. And that's what I love about underdog action movies. You have someone like Arnold and just an insane ensemble. Carl Weathers, fucking jacked as fuck, the whole team. And they are outmatched 7 versus 1 against this alien that has advanced technology, superior technology. They have no shot at winning. They unload 4,000 rounds into the jungle and barely scratch the thing that's hunting them. And in order to survive, he only wins because his entire crew gets killed, except for one, and the girl. And then he still almost dies multiple times. But he does have to come up with this great plan. You know, the booby traps, the Home Alone concept, covered in mud. He is outmatched, but he has to use his wits to succeed, and he still almost loses multiple times when those things fail him. And that's why I love Predator so much, is because not only is it kick-ass, and not only is it a perfect action movie, and yes, we're both talking about 2 John McTiernan movies.
McTiernan, bro.
But even though Die Hard, McClane's sort of an every guy, and Predator, Dutch is the fucking guy.
He's the alpha.
He's the guy you can't be. They both still are outmatched, but they pull it off.
And Dutch nearly gets fucking killed so many times. so many times. And then also, like, the Predator could kill him, but it does, take its mask off to just, mano a mano, we're equals. But he nearly dies multiple times in that fight. And he, like, barely gets it done. And there's so many contemporary films where it's just, like, especially, like, whether it be the final fight or the climax, it just seems too easy for the lead character now.
Yeah, they're too trained. They're too amazing. They can't be beaten.
No mistakes are made.
Yeah, it's just
because, like, also, like, McClane,
it kills suspense. That's the thing.
McClane makes mistakes. Dutch makes mistakes. I mean, he loses his whole fucking team. You know what I mean? That's the last thing you want to be as a commanding officer. Have your entire crew die. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not to say that I don't like movies where we have an established character that, for a good reason, they are an unstoppable foe. They are an unstoppable
John
force.
Wick. It works.
John Wick's not unstoppable, but he does go through hell. But, like so many great martial arts movies, looking at movies like The Raid 2, even some old Jackie Chan movies, some Jet Li movies, Bruce Lee movies, these guys, their training speaks for itself. And you understand that this character is highly skilled and just the ultimate badass, but it works with the story, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And when there's no reason for someone to be that unstoppable, it takes me out of the movie.
Even Jackie, though, he would get beat up all the time.
Yeah.
And his reactions, and it's like, he never, like, did it easily.
True. Yeah. But there are sequences in, Jet Li movies and in some Jackie movies where they're just 1v10 fucking everyone up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But Jackie takes a lot of hits.
He takes a lot of hits.
Every movie takes a lot of hits. Yeah. Man, I love. We grew up on Jackie.
We grew up on Jackie.
Frickin'.
Oh my god. Listen to this. Okay, Shanghai Noon.
Okay.
Right? Shanghai Noon. Do you remember? So in Shanghai Noon, there's a kid. There's like a British kid in the Wild West town who's a pickpocket.
Yeah.
He's friends with Owen Wilson, and he's like a fast talking, like 10-year-old swindler. Right?
I thought that was the sequel.
But you know who I'm talking about. It's this kid.
Yeah.
He calls himself Charlie Chaplin. He wears a hat.
Yeah.
It was Aaron Taylor Johnson.
No fucking way.
Aaron Taylor Johnson played Charlie Chaplin in Shanghai Noon. And he's not Charlie Chaplin, the actor in the movie. He just plays like a pickpocket who's named Charlie Chaplin, who they use to help with a couple of sequences.
Oh,
it's Aaron Taylor Johnson as like a 10-year-old.
Holy shit.
It's insane. I can't believe it.
It is Shanghai Nights.
It's Shanghai Nights?
Yeah.
Okay, is it Shanghai Nights?
Yeah,
sorry. Okay.
Because that movie's in London, bro.
Okay, sorry. Either way, so that kid, the kid from Shanghai Nights is Aaron Taylor Johnson.
That is insane. Holy
Isn't
crap.
that wild?
His red carpet fit slaps too. He's got like long shorts.
Oh, that's so 2000s coded. Oh my god.
Long shorts and a long button-up shirt.
Isn't that crazy?
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got it mixed up. I got the film mixed up.
Okay, man. That's why I'm here.
I can't believe it. He's got like dirt on his face. The boiler hat. Bowler hat.
Bowler hat.
Wow. Isn't that wild?
I'm blown away. I had no idea.
But I found out because I watched a ATJ interview, and he was talking about Jackie Chan in his stunt work. Got some fizzies coming out, James.
Yeah, sorry.
I keep hearing these bubbles. Get away from the mic, bro. Hot mic. And so he was saying it was an interior huge stunt sequence where Jackie does this huge fight with a bunch of guys, and he uses different pieces of the set. Interacts with it, like there's a chandelier he jumps onto or hangs from, and he jumps on a table, things like that. He's like using the whole set like he always did with his physical martial arts, combat, stunt work, and comedy. And Aaron Taylor Johnson said he was absolutely blown away because they told him when he was a kid what was going to happen in the scene, and what Jackie was going to do, and all these crazy things and he's going to interact with in the scene. And Aaron Taylor Johnson asked, like, "Oh, how long have you guys been prepping this scene? Have you been working on it for like weeks to prepare?" And they said, "No, Jackie just worked on it for a couple hours. He said he just walks in the set in the morning, looks around, interacts. He said he like uses it as like a playground. So Jackie would go on a set and like test everything and use the environment, see what he could do. He'd like hang from this, he'd like jump from that. He'd be like, "Oh, I can jump on this table and then it can flip, whatever." And then they would block the scene out based upon what he wanted to do, and he would block everything out for the staging, the day of. And Aaron Taylor Johnson said he said he was blown away the fact that like they only spent like the morning prepping that scene, and it was because it was a huge action set piece.
Was it the saloon fight?
It was
the pub fight.
It was some kind of saloon pub bar. He said
that's so cool.
Isn't that crazy,
man? I always thought they were way. I'm sure some sequences are a lot more planned than that, but sometimes
the big ones, big ones. Yeah, I'm sure.
Man, that's so cool. Man, that's crazy.
He said he was just like a monkey in a playground, just like jumping from thing to thing.
Fucking Aaron Taylor Johnson, 10 years old. That's crazy because I haven't seen Shanghai Nights in a while, but I've been getting the itch to like rewatch those movies, and I wonder if I would have picked up on who that kid is.
I wouldn't have.
If I watched it recently.
I wouldn't have.
Maybe. I mean, I've seen enough Aaron Taylor Johnson movies that it's possible, but that's fucking nuts.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, Shanghai Nights.
We should cover those movies, man.
Shanghai Noon's great.
I learned a lot. I learned in Shanghai Noon that moist fabric is stronger than
he pees on the
dry fabric.
That's one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, when
the fun fact
pulls the bars apart he pees on his shirt. Makes it much stronger. I learned things from that movie.
I referenced that fact to someone a couple months ago, but it was because of Shanghai Noon. Like it was something about a fabric not breaking, and I was like, because it's wet.
Man, what a banger that
but
movie
Shanghai
was.
Noon, really well photographed. It's beautiful.
I saw it like a year ago or a year and a half ago. I rewatched it. It looked awesome.
Caleb Deschanel shot it.
It looked awesome.
And it's just like the cinematography is great. The production design, the costuming, like it's all like really so well crafted. The artisans on that. It's an action comedy, but like it looks amazing. It's like it might be the best looking action comedy.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Movies used to look, on average, used to look so much better.
Yeah.
So much care was put into them. It was more creative. And like we were talking about earlier with CGI, but also so many production elements have just been simplified, made more efficient because, studio heads, they're run by money people. Back in the day, 20s, 30s, 40s, studios were run by these dudes, these guys that loved art. They loved cinema. They loved storytelling. And then it evolved, and now it's gotten to the point where it's just money people. Business majors, people who are business majors and economics degrees, they're running studios now versus people who love art, who love movies, who love storytelling and want to make artistic films. Now it's about the most money possible with a lot of movies. Not all of them, of course. And then you get the best of both worlds where both happen. But that's who's running studios now.
Yeah.
Advertisers. John Draper is running movie studios.
Yeah, when you have 5,000 employees, it's about keeping the lights on and also paying your shareholders. Like shareholders, these companies being public was also a bad thing.
I get it. I understand it. It's inevitable. It's just that's the way we're heading in this, capitalism. It's all just more about money, money, money every decade that passes. So you understand that perspective, but also at the same time, even when I'm telling you, I saw Final Destination and rewatched that for the first time in like 20 years a couple weeks ago. It looked fucking great.
Looked good.
It looked great. And there's really unique shots in that movie too, where you don't get that in horror movies or mid-sized movies that often anymore.
That also, I think, is a testament to film.
Yeah.
Shooting on celluloid always looks better.
It does always.
I think it always looks better.
No, but I'm just talking about more of like the camera angles and the camera shots.
Oh no, yeah. But like, but that's the thing is like, it comes to that. Like, when you shoot on film, you have to look through the lens. You have to be very careful and precise, and it's all essentially it's professional guesswork, and all these people who know what they're doing. But at the end of the day, you don't know what it's going to look like until you see the dailies the next day. Yes, there was Video Village, and you can have a really good idea of what the film will look like from the video feed connected to the camera. But at the end of the day, still way more care is put into the filmmaking. You have to look through the lens. You have to make sure it looks how you want to look, and more care is put into it because it's more precious. Film is way more precious than digital, where you can just do take after take after take after take, keep it running. But you only have so much film left to shoot with. And I've seen it working in my own work, and I hear about it from professionals. I've spoken to cinematographers about this, and I've seen it. I've talked to cinematographers, interviewed for cinematographers for my films, and a lot of cinematographers who grow up doing digital, they never look through the lens. Think about it. They never look through the lens of the camera because the cameras they use Video Village, and so many rely on the feed. They're not actually looking through the camera's lens, the viewfinder. That's where the magic is. And, there's a difference between lighting and framing for a screen versus lighting and framing for a fucking through the lens, an eye in the lens. And essentially, it's like it's easier to shoot digital and it's safer. But I'm telling you, man, there's something organic, there's something precious, and it creates this urgency, and it creates this feeling to make sure you get it as best as possible, as good as it can be. Because at the end of the day, when you're shooting it, you're like, I hope it looks good. We're gonna find out tomorrow after it gets developed and processed if it worked. But when you have digital, you just look at the screen, you're like, oh yeah, we can adjust this and adjust that. You're less precious with it, in my opinion.
That reminds me of this great Twitter thread I stumbled upon a couple weeks ago from I'm Patrick T, who's a filmmaker and a movie Twitter person. Posts a lot of cool stuff. So have you ever? So a lot of directors, when you're on set, you oftentimes will have a video village where monitors are set up. There's a little tents. Everyone's looks a little different, but usually there's a couple monitors for different camera angles, depending on how many cameras you have up. Director, producer, script supervisor, a lot of people are huddled around it. And then oftentimes a director will be moving around sets. They'll have a portable, handheld director's monitor. Some people have one around their neck. And they're usually, like 7-inch, 9-inch monitors, really good quality. It's just a feed hooked up to Video Village, basically, directly from the camera. And same signal as Video Village. So, have you ever noticed the one that Christopher Nolan uses on set?
It's fucking 30 years old.
So,
it's tiny and it's 30 years old.
This guy did a whole thread about it. So, he uses a Casio portable TV as his director's monitor, still to this day. Now, he does this so he can monitor framing wirelessly. And typically, you'll see directors, with these really nice 4K 9-inch handheld monitors or even iPads. But Nolan, he's been using this Casio portable TV player for years. There are, of course, better technical solutions, but it's clear he likes that low jack monitor to simply focus on the frame. And so basically what he's saying is they modify his film cameras, including the IMAX ones, with the antennas to output a UHF VHF signal from the video tap, and his little portable Casio TVs getting a primitive feed sent to it wirelessly. So he's basically like tuning that TV to pick up a personal station from the camera. Its scrappy solution costs $40. It's crazy.
He also uses.
They don't produce them anymore either.
He also uses like old ass headphones.
So it's the Casio EV-4500 portable color TV.
Here's the thing: is like, and that's just for the frame, but he likes to be next to his DP during filming.
Yeah, he's next to camera often. Yeah,
he's oftentimes right there next to Hoyta or whoever the camera operator is in the moment. Oftentimes it's Hoyta. You can see any behind the scenes photos. He's right near the camera. Same thing with Quentin Tarantino does the same thing. But then you look at Scorsese, he likes to hang out at Video Village,
He's got a nice chair.
Yeah, he's got a nice chair. He's old. Like he likes to chill. And Scorsese likes to look. He's like visually can take it all in. He'll do several monitors and he's watching it. And the thing is, like, this connects to Onora. I can't remember his name, but the guy who produced Onora accepted the Best Picture trophy, right? And he's like, we made this for $6 million with a crew of 40 people. We shot on location in New York City, the most expensive place to make movies, yet we still did it. Here's the thing. And again, going back to like people I've spoken to in the film industry, young creatives like our age that we've worked with, that I've talked to, interviews or whatever. And I've gotten into debates with cinematographers. I think that so many people that I've spoken to grow up and they go to film school and they're told you have to do it this way. You need this crew hand, this crew hand, this crew hand, this crew hand. You need this team with this camera package. You need to have all these crew people. Your camera department needs 6 people in it. Your sound, everything. They think that you need these giant sets. They think you need all of these pieces. They think you need all this tech, and that you can't make a movie without amazing pieces of technology. Nolan uses a 30-year-old fucking TV portable TV. And Nolan works with very small crews. Cillian Murphy talked about it on Oppenheimer. He's like, there's like 5 people on set when we're filming, like in the set. You don't need these giant crews. Nora, a crew of 40 people, that's how they were able to make it. You don't need a giant crew of all these hands, all these people, all these incredible pieces of gear. It's not necessary for every film. That's why Stanley Kubrick could shoot for so long. Stanley Kubrick, he went over budget sometimes, but like he planned his movie so that his crew was so small, it gave him more days to shoot. Because he was filming with such a tiny crew, not that many people to pay, they were able to shoot for months and months and months and months, as opposed to having normal Hollywood-sized crew where you could only shoot for 2 months, 3 months tops. He's able to shoot for a year because he had a small crew. So he figured out, like, time's more important for me as a filmmaker, not how many people are on my crew. So he invested his money into time and not into how many hands are on set, how many pieces of gear are on set. And I've gotten into debates with cinematographers, in interview processes and with just discussions of them telling me, you need to have this, you need to have that, you need to have that. And then me saying, I don't want that. We don't need that. We can do it without it. So for example, in my film Mother, when I interviewed like 7 DPs, and I chose a great DP named Toby Lloyd out of the UK because he's the only person who agreed with me and aligned with exactly what I wanted. And so I was talking to all the DPs when I interviewed them about how I wanted to shoot interiors, and I wanted to use natural window lighting, but I didn't want to put boxes of outside the windows and blow out the windows. It can look great in movies. You know, Janusz Kaminski and Spielberg have been doing it for years. They've made it very popular, but for what I wanted with the aesthetic, the one downside to that is when you see a scene and the windows are blown out and there's light pouring in, right? It's just like basically white. When I see that, I think I see. When I watch that in a movie, I'm like, there's lights right there, because that's not what it's like in reality. And what I wanted for that film, for these shots, were I wanted to see the exterior while we were inside. I wanted to see the trees in the background. I wanted to see the grass on the outside. I wanted to see the estate. I was renting this fucking giant property. Why not? I was like, I need to show this off. And I didn't want the windows to be blown out. And every DP I talked to, and I told them that that's what I wanted, they were like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. We need to put these huge boxes there. We need a crew of like at least 5 guys. It's going to be like $6,000 for this camera package and lighting package. You can't shoot the windows without lights on the other side of them. You need the light pouring in. And I just kept saying, we can do it. I used to be a photographer. I know that this is possible, and I've seen it done in movies. You don't need this gear to do it. And every DP I talked to, they're like, no, you have to do this. This is how much it's going to cost. And I was just so unhappy with every conversation I had with every DP because they all said the same thing. And I was like, and in my head, I'm like, they're wrong. There's no one way to do something. You know what I mean? That's filmmaking. It's experimenting. It's trying new things. There's not one way to shoot a scene. And then I talked to the DP I eventually hired, Toby, who's fantastic, and I told him what I wanted to do. He's like, cool, let's do it. It sounds great. And he was like, yeah, it makes total sense. And he's like, I love the concept of just making sure we can see the exteriors while we're inside the room, because that brings an authenticity of the experience of the perspective. When you're in the room, you can see the trees in the background because the lights are blown out from light boxes right there. And we shot it. It looks great. And so, like, that's an experience. Through that experience, I was like, how many DPs are thinking they have to do everything a certain way with a certain crew, with a certain lighting setup, with a certain lighting technique? And I think there's a fear of trying to think outside the box. There's a fear of exploring. And there's a fear of, let's take a couple things away, strip it down, and see what we can do. Because the greatest films ever made, the greatest looking films ever made, were made with much smaller crews, much less practical elements than you could ever imagine, but they look stunning. Look at an Emmanuel Lubezki film.
That's a good point. I had a similar experience with One Click where we're shooting in the desert, daytime. The whole movie takes place in daytime. We didn't use a single light. All we used were bounce boards, but I had so many DPs saying, like, I was getting quotes from like what kind of gear they would want, and they're like, so many were like, oh, we're gonna need like a 20 by 20 diffusion board to put over all the actors. I'm like, we don't need to diffuse the light above them. I'm fine with the sunlight above them. That's, you're outside. There's sun above you. It's okay. And they're like, oh no, we're gonna need it. We're gonna need to get rid of that harsh sunlight. They They wouldn't accept that I was fine with harsh sunlight. I'm fine with harsh shadows. That's what it's like when you're in the desert. I want that aesthetic because I want the audience to feel the harshness of the climate. And I ended up getting a great DP, Danger Charles, who's phenomenal, and he killed it. But so many DPs were adamant that like we need wind boards, which we didn't need at all because it wasn't as windy as it was. And then the diffusion things were killing me. Like, we don't need 20 by 20 foot diffusion board. That's going to need so many C-stands. It's going to need 3 people to mount it every time we want to do a shot. It's going to slow us the fuck down. We're filming in the desert, man.
Moving around.
We're going to have to move all over the place. It's going to kill time. It costs so much money. Wouldn't probably like it. It'd be too perfect looking. It'd be too diffused. Wouldn't make any sense. And I didn't hire any of those guys because I'm like, we're not going to get along at all. We're not going to work together. I'm like, we have a specific budget, and I need a person who can work with that budget at the end of the day and also understands what I'm going for with the vision, not someone who's going to fight with me. And I will 100% take people's suggestions and advice. Danger from an aesthetic point came up with so many great ideas and changed so much for the better. I love collaborating with people, and I'm so happy to take people's suggestions. It's one of my favorite parts about being on set. But also, I know what I want, and I don't want the most perfect diffused shot when I'm outside in the fucking sun.
Have they ever seen Seven?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Have you ever seen a Christopher Nolan movie at all?
The sun's out, man.
Oppenheimer won Best Cinematography. Shots, like, think about the Oppenheimer scene. It's Downey, Killian, and then Einstein. The sun is right above Downey's head.
Yes,
in
right
the
there.
most unflattering way possible. You don't need to diffuse everything every shot.
That one, I know they had bounce boards. That's all we used.
Yeah, but he didn't. You can look behind the scenes shots of that entire sequence. There's nothing above the actors.
No, let me double check because I know I've just seen bounce boards from like the side, like bouncing light.
Check it out.
Yeah,
it's such a minimal shot, and the sunlight's overhead. And you look at any film class, they'll say, "Oh, this is unflattering light. We need to avoid this kind of lighting." But that's real life. Not everything is
just a bounce board on the side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at how unflattering the lighting is on his head.
It's fine.
But it's not about making it look pretty. It's about making it feel real and making it feel like you're telling the story. You're immersing the audience into it. If they're standing in the middle of the day and there's a perfectly soft lighting over their head, it doesn't look real. It looks like TV. It looks like network TV.
100%. So
it looks like a soap opera.
I get that perspective. It's also similar to like so many industries, or even just like, I guess, government industries. Like, oh, we need all of this to accomplish this. It's like, do you really need 7 guys to do one pothole? Like, do we need 14 dudes for a pothole? I could do it for myself in like 2 hours.
I saw a Hugh Grant interview of like all the things he hates. Someone asked, and he goes off this list of. He's like, I hate backpacks. People walk around with backpacks. Click, 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 click. And then he says, why do our children have to carry water bottles? Why are our children carrying water across London? He said he hates road work where nobody's working.
Me too.
Where it's just the road's blocked but no one's there.
Or like that gets me irked. But also, like, if there's like a simple task, there's 12 dudes taking all day to do it. It's just it is what it is. They're milking it. They're trying to get their budget.
Yeah,
they're hitting their budget for next year. I think that's similar to maybe a lot of people in the film industry. They want to maintain a budget that they like to work at, and they want to keep getting that budget. Money's money, but also maybe they're not comfortable working with less gear.
I think that's what it is.
And it's harder work when you have less people, for sure. Like, it's easier to have a crew of 5 to help you with lighting and gaffing.
I think it's a fear thing, but the film is open and free, and you have to be able to explore the possibility of trying something new.
But everyone's different. Every director's different.
Yeah.
Every crew's different. Yeah. Every movie's different. But I was just like, guys, we don't need a 20 by 20 diffusion board. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want that on. That's going to be a bitch if it's windy. Shit's going down constantly.
Yeah.
Damaged gear, We had a little damaged gear from the wind, but we got it fixed up.
But I was honestly really surprised there was no flexibility from a lot of the people I spoke to. Yeah. It really surprised me.
Interesting.
Like, no flexibility at all.
Staying on Kubrick, I so wish that he was able to make some of those movies that he was in development for years. Like Napoleon, He did like 2 years of development on that movie. Mm-hmm. They had like 40,000 pieces of wardrobe. He had books of notes. And I wish we could have seen it and seen what it was like.
And AI.
AI too. Yeah, he was supposed to direct AI.
Yeah, he was going to make AI.
And then he passed away, and so Spielberg did it. That's right. I was watching an awesome interview of Spielberg talking about a conversation he had with Kubrick after Kubrick showed him The Shining, or he saw The Shining, and Spielberg didn't like it really the first time. He's trying to be nice, and Kubrick's like, so what do you think about my movie? He's like, oh, well, he did this was great, that was great. And he's like, well, Steven, you clearly didn't like my picture, like, so tell me what you didn't like about it. And he's like, I think, Jack went over the top. He seemed, kabuki, cartoonish in a lot of ways. And now Spielberg's like, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it like 30 times, 40 times. And that must have been such an interesting relationship between those two guys. It's two of the best filmmakers ever. But also, a filmmaker like Kubrick, you really have to watch his movies multiple times. But I will say that Kubrick movies are tough to turn off anyways, their first viewing. Like, you put on a Kubrick movie, the shit's staying on. Like, you ain't pausing that. You are invested. But I like that perspective because it's Spielberg, who you would think, like, of course he would like anything Kubrick makes. But even with Spielberg, because I think Kubrick's so complex and unique and his movies really challenge you, that even someone like Spielberg has to watch it a second time to really get it.
Yeah, they had a very close relationship. They spoke on the phone all the time, apparently, Spielberg said, which is why he took over the project of AI after Kubrick passed away. And Kubrick had been walking him through what he was doing, and then Spielberg used all of his pre-production work to use as his pre-production for AI. So a lot of what you see with AI was it's still Kubrick's involvement in it is still very present in that movie.
Yeah, that's cool.
But they're so different as filmmakers.
I would love to. There's also, I saw something recently that talks about Kubrick and Nolan and a couple other filmmakers, and I like how a lot of filmmakers are doing a lot of long shots lately, a lot of long takes, a lot of long oners. It's exciting, There's sort of that boom because of Birdman in 1917. I think the long takes have just like been coming back in a big way, which has been really exciting because so many movies are just chopped up like crazy. The edits in some films are absurd. Yeah. Like, what was that Denzel Jared Leto movie? That
Three Little Things, or
whatever it was.
Yeah,
The Little Thing. I couldn't watch that movie. We stopped it after 15 minutes. The editing killed me.
Yeah,
I did a video essay on that movie.
James was having nightmares about the editing of that movie.
Killed me. I literally did a video. I didn't finish it. I did a video essay because I think I counted 22 cuts in like 20 seconds of film. It was absurd how many cuts were in that movie and how many edits. And I was thinking recently,
the little things,
how I like Nolan, how he doesn't really do long takes. He doesn't do oners. And I never really noticed or picked up on it before until I was just randomly thinking about it the other day.
I made a clip about it.
Did you?
Yeah, I made a clip when Oppenheimer came out.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I got destroyed. People were debating me on it.
Because I was just thinking about this randomly, and I'm like, Nolan doesn't do oners. He doesn't do long takes. And then I found some data. And so Kubrick, his average cuts and takes, average shot length would be around 8 to 16 seconds. 8 to 16 seconds. Some movies like Dr. Strangelove, 8 seconds, but then Lolita, his average shot length is 16 seconds. Or The Shining, average shot length is 12 seconds. But he really stayed no lower than 8 seconds for a shot for the majority of his career. 2000 Space Odyssey, 13 seconds per shot. Barry Lyndon, 13 seconds per shot. And then someone like Christopher Nolan, he rarely goes over 4 seconds per shot. Memento, 4.4 seconds. Insomnia, 2.5 seconds. Batman Begins, 2.9. The Prestige, 3.4. Dark Knight, 3.1. Interstellar, 4.5 seconds per shot. Dunkirk, 4 seconds per shot. Inception, 3.1. So he's usually hovering around 4 or less seconds per shot in the movies he's making, which is so interesting because you would think someone like Nolan makes such big movies. You think, of course, he's got tons of oners and long takes in there, but he never really does. He doesn't really have that. And then, someone like Tony Scott, his career was insane. Domino, 1.7 seconds per shot. Deja Vu, Unstoppable, around 2 seconds. So he was hovering around 6 seconds per shot, under 3 seconds per shot. And then someone like Billy Wilder, a little more extreme than Kubrick. 7-Year Itch, 23 seconds per shot. Sunset Boulevard, 16 seconds per shot. Something Like It Hot, 12 seconds per shot. So he's hovering minimum 12 seconds per shot in his career or higher, which is so fascinating. Average for films for him was 16 seconds per shot.
So I pointed out it was in Oppenheimer. That was the longest shot I've ever seen in a Nolan movie, and it was when Downey and Alden Ehrenreich were walking through the hallway into the Congressional Senate hearing, and it was like a 20-second tracking shot. And I was like, that's the longest shot I've ever seen in a Nolan movie. He never does long takes.
That's right. And then the shot where they follow Downey into the little in the room where the group are talking at the table, at the round table.
So I pointed out it was a clip we made.
It felt so out of place, but in a great way.
Yeah, and I remember watching it. I was like, oh man, Nolan's not cutting, because he edits with his camera. He's a filmmaker who edits with his camera. It's all very controlled editing. He's not just like, we just get a back and forth. He uses his camera to edit, whereas with the long takes, you're using the take to create new scenes, to create new edits. But when I think you made the clip because you made the Oppenheimer episode talking about it, and we got a lot of flack online, like a ton of debate about it. People saying he does long takes all the time, but they thought that a long take was like a sequence. Like people were saying, what about the Tenet sequence that's like 30 minutes long, or like the bank robbery heist in The Dark Knight? It's like, that's not the long take. That's a sequence.
It's 50 shots.
He doesn't do it's like 100 shots, man. He doesn't do oneers. He doesn't do long takes, but his sequences are long. But I think that was the longest shot I've ever seen in a Nolan movie.
Yeah, I remember, because I remember watching Oppenheimer. That felt odd, but it's a great shot, but not odd in a bad way. It's just like, that's not his MO. He doesn't do these long following shots like that.
That's not his filmmaking style. It's not what he does.
But yeah, I thought that was really fascinating when I stumbled upon that. And I was just thinking about it, and then I stumbled upon that information about the seconds per shot length, and I was just like, Nolan never does long takes. He cuts a lot. Not in a bad way. There's nothing wrong with it. He still has a pretty solid average shot length, 3 to 4 seconds. But, man, it's just like now it just feels like it. It's just so funny to think of.
But, I mean, you don't need to have long takes I think that, like, when there's a oneer or a big oneer, it's like, oh, my God, look at the filmmaking. I think it takes away from, like, there's great filmmaking in movies that don't have oneers.
Yeah, you don't need oneers.
You don't need a oneer for it to be an amazing sequence. I'm trying to find it right now. It's somewhere. It's deep. We made a lot of reels. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. I'm scrolling down. But I think you made the clip about it.
The detective scene when they're at the crime scene of the murder, man. That camera was all over that room. I couldn't keep track of where anything was.
Of which one?
The scene where they're at the apartment with the dead body, the murder victim. Mm-hmm. The camera was everywhere.
It was the CSI sequence.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that was Warner Brothers saying edit this fast to keep the attention span of the audience, but I just couldn't believe how fast the editing of that scene was, and it just throws you out. You don't even know where you are. Takes away your understanding of the environment and where everything is, where everyone is. But then talking about Billy Wilder, I mean, that's also, he relied on so many wides, and there were less camera lenses that you could use back then.
Yeah,
and less camera setups were. It's. I don't think you can compare. It's weird to compare movies made in the 60s and 50s to movies made now, where it's so much easier to move the camera, so much easier to shoot. You have so many lens choices, and changing lighting is so quick and effortless in some ways. Back then, you're using huge sound stages, gigantic light setups, fixed lights, and gigantic bulky cameras. Only a certain number of lenses that you can use with that. And generally, they would use 1 or 2 lenses the entire time. So you couldn't do like a ton of close-ups because you're shooting with a 24 the whole time, or 17. So, but also, I mean, the acting in Bill Wilder movies is unbelievable. So you don't have to rely on editing because the acting is so good. Whether it be Sunset Boulevard or The Apartment, or 7 Year Itch, or Some Like It Hot, or Sabrina. Like, you don't even need to edit because the acting is so good.
The little things. I remember there's a scene where Denzel's character leaves his house, pets the dog, goes to the truck, and drives away. I think it was like 22 cuts.
It's crazy.
It was insane.
It's crazy.
You can do that in one. You can do that in one shot.
I remember I remember watching it and like they did 7 setups with Denzel
petting the dog.
It's
like, what are we doing?
It's like, what are we doing, guys?
Just stay on a shot.
What the hell's going on? Just do fucking one shot.
Fucking hell, man.
It's not even important to this. It's not even important. And also, what's that scene? He likes animals, so we like him.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly it.
I got these great physical copies of films for $1 each at a library.
What library?
It was in Playa Vista.
Was it like a special day where they're selling stuff?
No, they had a shelf of books and movies and VHSs, and everything is $1 on the shelves.
Interesting, because usually libraries don't sell stuff like that.
I got what looks to be an untouched version, a copy of Social Network Blu-ray, and I got American History X.
Oh shit!
I got District 9.
Nice
Blu-ray, which doesn't look to be used that much. I got Anchorman.
Did you add them to the shelf?
Yes.
Nice.
All for $1 each.
Wow, that shelf's going to be pretty long soon.
I was honestly, it's funny because I was thinking about buying Social Network Blu-ray just to have it. And then I found it.
I got
$1.
I got Hateful Eight Blu-ray for $5 on Amazon. I stumbled upon it. I was going to watch
Amazon.
it. Yeah, I was going to watch it the other night, and it's not streaming anywhere for free. And so I was going to rent it on Amazon, but it was $3.99. I'm like, I wonder. Like, let me go see what this costs on Amazon. Like, I wonder what the Blu-ray costs, because it was like buy for $7.99. I was like tempted, like, do I buy it for $7.99 on Amazon for the digital copy? But I'm like, I wonder how much it costs on Amazon. So I found it $5. So I get the digital download and a physical copy now.
Fuck yeah.
For $5.
Hell yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, I'll buy the Hateful Eight for $5 Blu-ray.
I was listening to that score the other day all day.
So good.
It's like Ennio's done some amazing themes. That one's great. It's such a great theme. Such a great score.
Yeah, and I think it's just Tarantino's most overlooked movie. So many people dislike it. So many people I've seen
it's in his lowest
find
rated.
It boring. I don't know if it's his lowest, but it's pretty surprisingly low. Let me check.
I think it's pretty low. I think it's pretty low rated. I'm pulling up Letterboxd. What are you pulling up?
IMDb. It's 7.8. It's really high, but for Tarantino, that's not super high. I guess, because like Reservoir Dogs 8.3, Pulp Fiction is 8.9, Once Upon a Time 7.6 for Once Upon a Time. What? Get the fuck out of here. I think Death Proof is his lowest rated movie. It's a 7.0. I think a lot of people don't get that movie.
Oh my god. Wait, how's Reservoir Dogs? Oh wait, that's a short. Wait. Okay, so the Hateful Eight on Letterboxd is a 4. Yeah, Death Proof is his lowest rated film.
Yeah. I just think Hateful Eight should be more appreciated.
Once Upon a Time is a 3.8 on Letterboxd.
That makes me sad. That makes me really sad.
How's that possible? I've never seen like a biggest discrepancy between friend ratings and the overall ratings. 4.2 between your friends and 3.8 for the public.
I think people just don't get that movie.
Wow, it's Once Upon a Time is lower rated than Jackie Brown.
That's interesting.
Damn. The fuck?
Once Upon a Time is so good.
That's crazy.
The movie's going to age like fine wine. It already is.
Guess what his highest rated film is?
His highest rated film on Letterboxd?
Yeah.
Inglourious Bastards.
Nope.
Kill Bill.
Correctamundo.
Volume 1.
Volume 1.
It seems like a Letterboxd number 1 for him. Where's Pulp at?
Pulp Fiction is number 5. Well,
Wow.
number 4.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, all of his movies are, most of his movies are over 4.2, so.
You know, I really understand Tarantino's perspective on why he's going to retire after 10, and I think I'm for it now.
Remember when I was talking about that 2 months ago, and I speculated it's because of Brian De Palma? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I was like, I have a feeling it was Brian De Palma and like put that into him because De Palma's last 20 years were so mediocre, and he made some bad films and just some films that were just they weren't his caliber in the late 90s and 2000s. He said in a podcast a few weeks ago, Brian De Palma's downward trend is the reason why he doesn't want to have the same thing happen to him, because he said Brian De Palma taught him how to make movies through his films, and then watching him make bad movies late in his life made Tarantino afraid that would happen to him.
Yeah, and also I'm sure there are other filmmakers that had the same trajectory as De Palma. And
for sure there are. Yeah,
I was watching him on a podcast, I think like a couple months ago, where he was asked about this, like, why not? Like, you're still at the top of your game. Why not keep going? And Tarantino's like, this is the best way I can put it. I want to go out. That's the best way I want to put it. I want to go out, and when I want to leave, and I want to drop the fucking mic so that when it lands, it lands, and that's it, and it's over, and I go out with a bang on top of the world. Could be his best movie. You know what I mean? And I get that now, and I always had that perspective of like, but you're still so good, you can still do some more. To get a couple more in there, you know, and maybe your last movie's not your best movie, but I'd still love to have 3 more Tarantino movies versus 1. But I get it now. He is at the top of his game. He knows it. And I get the perspective of that's when you do it for him. That's when you just end it all. You make this last movie, and really the mic drops hard. It goes through the fucking floor. And that's how you end your career. I'm fucking for it, man.
Everyone's going to see that movie.
And I like that motivation. And that means he's being so picky about what story it's going to be. He's probably got 30 ideas to make a movie. And he almost made that movie.
Yeah.
He almost made the movie critic. And now I'm probably glad. I mean, part of me was like, oh, it's too bad we're going to lose out on another Tarantino movie. But also at the same time, imagine the Tarantino movie we're going to get. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, plus, I mean, it's he's going to be making plays and writing novels, so he's not going to not be telling stories.
That's the first thing he's going to do next, though, is a play.
He's a play. And, yeah, imagine, like, they'll be marketing it like it's like a farewell tour for an athlete, like their final season. Everywhere they go, they get, like, standing ovations and stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody will go see Tarantino's last film.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cultural event. Think about it.
I think it's cool.
I understand where he's coming from. I get it. You know what? And
he's tired, I'm sure. I'm sure he's like, I think he's like, dude, I've been doing this for like 35, 40 years. Like, it's a lot.
From what I can tell from what he's been saying in interviews the last few years, he's not happy with the Hollywood business. He's not happy with the industry and how it's changed. He hates digital projection. He hates the business of the industry. He hates streaming. So I think he's very unhappy with what's happening. He hates the 30-day theatrical window.
Or 17-day theatrical window.
Yeah. So for him, it's not the Hollywood he loved, where he grew up and worked for years. And so I think that's added to it too, of him wanting to get out. Like one final bang. But that's also scary. It's like when that guy stops making movies, you know, thankfully we have Nolan. Thankfully we have Paul Thomas Anderson. Even someone like J.J. Abrams shooting the old way, shooting on film and on big scales. But it's a testament of, like, you know, Scorsese, a bunch of those guys and gals. You know, we need to keep shooting on film. We need to keep the history of filmmaking still present even in the future. But I think that Tarantino will inspires more people to want to do that.
I agree.
Same thing with Nolan.
Yeah. Hell yeah. QT, baby. Go out on top. I like it. I'm for it. Let's go. Who knows when we'll get it, but hopefully in the next 5 years. All right. Well, how about we wrap up this ep?
Yeah, let's do it.
This episode.
The epi?
This epi. Let's wrap this epi up. I'm going to go have a sody.
And a Sammy.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, as always, to this fun movie chat. Be sure to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. Subscribe on YouTube. Share everything you see on Instagram, TikTok. Interact with us, engage, leave comments, like. Those are the things that make the show bigger and better every year. Engagement is key. And take care, everyone.
See you next time.